Ariel's royal wedding. Prince Ariel had loved Prince Eric from the moment she first saw him, even though she was a mermaid and he was a human. And Eric had loved Ariel from the moment he heard her sing. The pair had faced terrible trials to be together, but now that was all behind them. They were finally getting married. They announced their engagement with the royal parade. People from all over the kingdom came to see their new princess. Ariel had never been to a human wedding before, so she had a lot to learn. While in the village, she overheard that human couples danced at weddings. Ariel wanted to surprise Eric with a beautiful dance, so she asked Grimsby to teach her something new. Grimsby was busy getting the castle ready for the wedding, but he always had time for Ariel. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, Grimsby said as he instructed Ariel in a minuet. Before long, she was twirling across the floor like an expert. "Well done, Princess," Grimsby said. "You will look so elegant dancing in your wedding dress." "Wedding dress?" Ariel asked. Grimsby suggested that Carlotta would be the best person to ask about a wedding dress. When Ariel found the housekeeper, she had lots of questions. "What does a human wedding dress feel like? Is it hard to walk in?" "Human wedding dresses are usually flowing and white and always beautiful," Carlotta said excitedly. "We can design something that's just right for you, dear." Ariel and Carlotta got to work, sketching out one dress idea after another. Ariel loved the soft white fabric Carlotta suggested, but something was missing. "Could we add some green here and here?" Ariel asked, pointing to one of Carlotta's sketches. "I want to have something that reminds me of the sea." "Perfect," Carlotta replied. "I'll take this design to the royal dressmaker right away." She began to leave the room, but paused in the doorway. "I promise you will have no problem walking in it," she told Ariel with a smile. "You just have to be careful not to get any cake on it." "Cake?" Ariel said. The next morning, Ariel visited Chef Louis in the kitchen. He was busy preparing the wedding menu and baking sample wedding cakes. "Chef Louis, I don't know what a proper human wedding cake is like," Ariel admitted. "Don't worry, ma'am," he said. "I will bake you the most delicious, most exquisite wedding cake in all the land and sea. What flavor would you like it to be?" "Chocolate," Ariel said without hesitation. Then she added, "And maybe it could have a sea salt caramel filling." Sea salt caramel has always been one of her father's favorite treats. The wedding plans were almost finished. Ariel found Grimsby to see if there was anything else she could help with. "All that remains is the guest list," Grimsby said, pulling out a giant roll of parchment. "Why is the list so long?" Ariel asked in surprise. "A wedding is for the family as much as it is for the bride and groom," said Grimsby. That made Ariel think about her own family. Because they all lived under the sea, she assumed they wouldn't be able to come to the wedding. And yet in all her preparations, she saw things that reminded her of them. Ariel went back to her room to think. As she considered all the wonderful wedding plans, she remembered what Grimsby told her. A wedding is for family. It was Ariel's dream to spend the rest of her life as a human, but she still wanted to honor her past as a mermaid. Most of all, she wanted her family close by her on her wedding day. She began to feel sad. Later, Eric found Ariel alone on the balcony looking out at the sea. He noticed tears in Ariel's eyes. "What's the matter?" he asked. "I want a human wedding, but I just wish that my family could be there too." "Ariel, we don't have to have the wedding at the palace," Eric said softly. "Of course," Ariel exclaimed. "We could have the wedding at sea on board your ship. Then everyone, both human and merfolk, can come." "I wouldn't have it any other way," Eric said, hugging Ariel tightly. "After all," Ariel added, "that ship is where I first saw you." Together, Ariel and Eric found Grimsby and told him all about their new plans for the wedding. The morning of the wedding finally arrived. Carlotta helped Ariel put on her wedding dress. "It's beautiful," Ariel said. "I just know this day will be everything I hoped it would be." Together, Ariel and Carlotta made their way to the wedding ship, where everyone was waiting for them. The human guests were all seated on the deck. The merfolk looked on from the sea. Ariel's father used the magic of his trident to lift him and her sisters up to the side of the ship. Everything was still. Then the music began to play, and Ariel walked down the aisle to Eric's side. The vows were made, the rings were exchanged. "Go ahead, kiss the girl," cried Sebastian. And at last the prince and princess were married. After the wedding, everyone celebrated together. Chef Louis brought out the wedding cake, chocolate with sea salt caramel filling. He had even made a special second cake just for the mer guests. As Eric was enjoying his last bite of cake, Sebastian directed the Sea Animal Orchestra to start playing. "I have a surprise for you, Ariel said happily. She took Eric's hand and began dancing just like Grimsby had taught her. They were soon joined by other human couples, and the merfolk began dancing together in the ocean. Eric and Ariel's wedding day was a celebration for both land and sea, the beginning of a life filled with joy and laughter, shared with family and friends of all kinds. As the couple waved goodbye to their guests, Eric and Ariel knew that this was a day that would be remembered forever. The end.